Well, good evening everybody, or good morning, depending what part of the world you're from. Welcome to my evening edition of the webinar, the Forex webinar. Hope everybody is doing well. We'll give it a few minutes just for a few more people to roll in, but good morning to you, Sarah. Hello, Vinco. So, what happened this afternoon? Well, we'll run through the news shortly on how I was very optimistic, as some of you very well know, about the beginning of this week, and how I was overdue to get out of my drawdown. Evening, Peter. And unfortunately Trump decided to comment again, so we'll just give it a few more minutes for people to join. First of all, I know a couple of people have been on the right side of the news in the last few weeks. Certainly, who is it? Jamie. Jamie's done very well doing trading off trendline structure. He's got a couple of big winners on the pound Aussie. He's got some nice moves, just managed to catch, I think, 130, 180 pip winners, something like that. So well done to Jamie. Has anybody else been able to catch some big moves on the right side of the news? You all know that I haven't. Well, I was on the right side. My bias was on the right side of the move, and we got the move, but unfortunately, yeah, Trump decided to tweet. So let's just talk about what Trump has actually done, and then we'll go over, I think we'll go over the trades that we were in, and we'll talk a little bit about psychology. Yeah, well done, Jamie. And so really what's happened here, I'm on the fxstreet.com, and it just goes on to say that US President Trump call with China was very productive. Commenting on the latest developments surrounding the US-China trade dispute, US President Donald Trump said the call with China was very productive and added that he delayed the tariffs on China imports to help a lot of people. Well, thank you for that, Donald. China would very much like to do something on trade. Trump added delayed tariffs for Christmas season in case it had an impact on shopping. Trump also acknowledged that the decision to delay tariffs today was one of the reasons the stock market rallied. So, just last week, Trump spoke and tweeted about the imports, and then he has this week decided to put that back until December, or at least some of them back until December. So what we're seeing is it's good for the economy, so we're seeing some strength. Whereas last week when he talked about those imports, about potentially more imports being added, that was very negative for the economy, so we saw big moves then. Well, what we're seeing a president, just very broadly, who cannot make up his mind. We're seeing last week big moves in one direction, which violate lots and lots of structure levels. This week we see him going back on some of what he said, and we're seeing some relief come back into the markets, and we're seeing this ping movement from one side to the other. And unless you're on the right side of the news, unfortunately you're always going to be on the wrong side. Now that's okay, it is part of trading, but when you're on the wrong side of the news multiple times and you're in a drawdown, and that drawdown has now been made worse as a result of what he's doing, you just pray that he's just not going to do any more of this. Well, I'll just read what he says again. It says that what did he say? Trump added delayed tariffs for Christmas season in case it had an impact on shopping. So that's why he did it. So thank you, Trump. That's why I've lost quite a lot of money, because you decided to change your mind within a week and give everybody an early Christmas present, considering it's August. So nothing we can do about the technicals unless you're a technical trader, unless you knew that Trump was going to change his mind and go back on some of what he said last week. you just would not have been able to predict that he would have done that. Dare I say a little bit of incompetence? It's not for me to say, I guess. Not for me to say. So I was talking on Monday to a few people within the chat, and I said to them, feeling very positive. Just let me bring up some charts, guys. Actually, 1 second, guys. Won't be able to bring up any charts just for a moment. So I spoke to some people within the chat on Monday and said I'm feeling very positive for this week. Typically 2 to 3 weeks from a drawdown is the maximum we tend to see before I see the winners come in. Obviously, we've had 7 trades over the past few weeks that roughly total 550 pips of trades we were in that just stopped us out between 1 and 2 pips, and that was all as a result of erratic news. Again, nothing we can do about that. We've done the analysis on previous trades. There was nothing done wrong, simply the drawdown has come from those trades that just stopped us out that then went on to win. Then obviously we had a little bit of bad luck, didn't we, with last week. We were in 2 big pound trades, one up 100, one up 70, and we know the story. Trump spoke and they both lost. So that puts us further into the drawdown, and then I decided then mid-late last week to not trade any pound pairs and just allow for the dust to settle, find some support, some resistance, and that's exactly what I did. And on Friday I posted 2 trades in the chat, both one for 100 pips. I didn't take them because they were pound pairs, and there was a signal on the pound yen which I didn't post but won. So when I saw 3 winners in a row on Friday, I thought that'll be fine. Come Monday we've started to find some support and resistance, and over the last couple of days then, particularly today, we're in quite a few trades and all of them were doing well. I'm just going to run through a few of them. We had the Euro New Zealand winner for about 60-65 pips. The New Zealand yen trade won for 31. The dollar Swiss trade, which was a triangle, that was I think 40 pips up. We were halfway to targets. It instantly turned and stopped us out. Dollar yen trade was about 80 pips up there, 3/4 of the way to target, and it just rallied the other way within minutes. Pound Aussie, that was a flag. We had the confirmed breakout of the channel. I'll run through these in a moment. Bring them up on the chart. We're about 50-55 pips up there, instantly turned and stopped us out. Euro yen came 5 pips from targets, pulled back for a 26.18. News came out, instantly stopped us out. There was actually 460 pips worth of trades we were in. 370 pips which hadn't completed. All of them had confirmation that we were going in the right direction, and we were just stopped out of all of them and on the wrong side of an unscheduled news event. So how does that affect you or even me? It's affected me quite a lot, if I'm completely honest with you. I've over the years trained myself to be pretty okay with being in a drawdown, pretty okay with just being stopped out of a trade and it rallying the other way, but being on the wrong side of another unscheduled news event where we've now pinged the other way compared to what we was doing last week and violated structure again when we were in so many trades that had confirmation is difficult. And I did get an email from a member of the platform who said finding it very difficult dealing with the drawdown and the fact that we've just had these additional losses today. I think what makes it worse, evening Stuart, I think what makes it worse is the simple fact that a lot of these trades were well over halfway to targets and it was looking like they were going to win. So what I'm just going to do, if you give me a minute guys, I've got my normal charts loaded, but when I have those loaded it means that I can't see the chat. So I'm just going to load the chat on one of my other screens. And we're going to run through a few of these trades. Are you going to load? So yeah, from a psychological point of view, very, very difficult. I thought we was going to get out the drawdown this week, certainly with the trades that we're in. So how do we deal with those emotions? Well, if it is affecting you emotionally, the thing to do is take yourself out of that situation. Because if you sat by your computer and you're looking at the markets whizzing up and down, and what's running through your brain is probably, if I just bought it now, we'll probably carry on the momentum. And then at the other end, you're probably thinking, well, the momentum looks like it's run out. I should just sell it right now and I can earn back all the pips that I've lost. And in doing that, all you're doing is not trading a strategy. You're not entering based on structure. You're simply trading on the aftermath of the momentum move as a result of the news. And inevitably, all you're going to do is just blow more money. And the best thing to do is, if you're having those negative emotions, is to take yourself out of the situation and go for a walk, go for a run, do something to burn off some steam, do something to take your mind off the charts and the fact that those trades have just lost. It could be cooking, it could be going out watering your plants if you love gardening, whatever it may be. And don't do anything for the rest of the evening. Take yourself out of that situation. Exercise is a great way of getting rid of those built up emotions, and those emotions can lead to negative feelings. And the best way to get rid of negative feelings before the build up inside of you is some form of exercise. So go out for a run, a walk, whatever it may be. Take yourself away from the computer. So that's the best advice that I can give. I've been away from the computer for a couple of hours purely because of the losses that we've seen. Was anybody on the right side of the news? Sarah says, lifting weights helps me a lot. Vigorous exercise, and it has to be vigorous. You have to get your heart pumping, and it's that gets rid of those negative feelings. It's the same with depression. Those negative feelings can lead to depression, and one of the main cures for depression is getting out, having physical exercise, getting rid of those emotions. It's the best way of doing it. Right, Firefox has finally loaded. Let me see if I can load the chat on here now. I'll just move this over to a different screen. Okay, nope, it doesn't want to let me. Great, it doesn't want to let me load the chat. Just one second, guys. Sorry about this. I'm going to have to grab my phone and I'm going to have to watch the chat on there. 1 second. Okay guys, we're back. Sorry about that. As I say, I've got different charts loaded and it won't let me load up the chat on YouTube. So Vinco says meditation helps. Now, I spoke to my psychotherapist. As you know, a lot of you know that I see a psychotherapist and have for a long period of time now. She advises, while meditation is good to help you calm yourself, to help get yourself relaxed, it doesn't actually get rid of those negative feelings. The best thing for that is exercise, rigorous exercise, a good walk, a run, something like that. That's the best way to get of them, and you'll come back feeling a lot lighter, feeling a lot healthier, mentally stronger. So let's go and did anybody, by the way, was anybody on the right side of the news? We're going to look at some structure trades. I'm going to look at some of the trades that we're in, look at the confirmation that we had, and then simply look how the news affected the charts. And for some reason YouTube is not working on my phone. Let's try this again. Okay. So guys, Heath was in Euro Aussie. What direction? Long or short, Heath? I'm in Euro Aussie. I'm short that one and a head and shoulders. I hope that one comes off. I think we're about 90 pips up, something like that. Yeah, and it's short. Okie dokie, yeah. We're in a big head and shoulders. If that one comes off, it'll be worth 320 pips. And I won't lie, guys, we need it. We need it. But right now, let's go and take a look at some of the trades that we were in. I'm going to take a look at the dollar yen first of all. So the dollar yen. Just give me a yes if you was in this trade with me, guys. I'll have to redraw this out. So we had a swing in the market, a directional move lower. I was in this for a week as well. A bloody week, would you believe? 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. We have a very high probability, around about a 65% chance of going to hit that 127 fib. And if we zoom out, we were not playing, well, we were playing just a little bit below the structure level, which is fine. But look at what we did. We were moving very nicely. We'd got the breakout. We were moving lower. Right here was a confirmed break below, close below, and everything was indicating here that we were going to go lower and get those targets for about 138 pips and news. Nobody could have predicted this unless you had some sort of higher time frame perspective, maybe off the weeklies, which did not involve, which meant that you bought the market up before we'd come down to structure. So really you would not have been a structure-based trader, because I cannot see any structure-based trader buying the market up before we'd come down to this level. And there was absolutely no reason to buy the market up because we were in trend, we were coming lower, and we just put in a new low, and we'd also had a breakout pattern, which is a high probability that we were going to go lower. So I cannot see, although I did read on a couple of blogs that a few people were long the dollar yen. Don't know the reasons why they were long. Again, maybe it was to do something with the weekly. Is anybody a weekly trader in here, guys? I can't see there's many weekly traders. That's more for investment if you're trading off the weekly. I just cannot see why anybody would be long. Let's go and take a quick look at the weekly. Okay. Weekly. There is absolutely no reason here from a technical perspective to buy the market up. This was the low just here. This was the low back here. There was no 3-bar reversal. There was no RSI confirmation. There was absolutely nothing here to indicate the market would go higher. Let's just take it back down to the dailies. And the same on the dailies. The RSI didn't even go oversold. There was just no reason here to believe we were going to see a pop to the upside. So just type in the chat, guys. Was the trade that we took a good trade? Did it meet the rules or did it not? Give me a yes if it was a good trade and it met the rules, or give me a no if it was not a good trade and it did not meet the rules. So it says, of course the Euro Aussie is the one trade I accidentally entered a smaller position size. Stupid mistake. I've done that before, Sarah. I had one. I also a couple of times I've entered in on the wrong account, and I actually did it this afternoon. Actually, I hit my margin call on my smaller account. I thought it was my bigger account, and I'd put 3 times the amount of position on it, and with all the trades that I was already in, it hit a margin call on it. And then a few weeks before that, I had another trade where I input 1,000 instead of 100,000, and that trade I think lost. So I lost something like £3.50 in it. But at one point today I was 250 pips up. On my main account, not too sure how much that was, maybe £5,000 or £6,000. I was thinking that we would be very close to getting out for break even in terms of being back at break even for the last month, and it wasn't meant to be. Mistakes like that, there's nothing you can do with them, just make sure you don't make the mistake again. Martin says would take that trade 100 out of 100 times. Okay. Vinco, yes, it was a good trade. Heath, yes. Stuart, yes, they're all good trades. Sarah, oh no. Okay, I think you put that in afterwards. So yes, a good trade. So we know the win rate on these trades is about 65%. Depending what your entry is, it can be a little bit more if we get a rotation pattern as the entry up here. But this was a good trade. And we had the confirmation, but as a result of the news, there is nothing we can do about an unscheduled news event. Now, if it was scheduled, we could have maybe moved to break even, knowing how unpredictable the pound and the dollar has been of late. We could have done that, but it wasn't a scheduled event. So we're going to move that one to the side, and we're going to say there's nothing we can do about that at all. Just give me a yes if you was also in the dollar Swiss trade. Are you guys getting any feedback at all on the microphone? Vinco says not always a good trade is a winner and a bad. Exactly, a good trade is a trade that you've tested, you know to be profitable, and you've followed the rules. And this was a solid trade. Solid trade. Okay, sorry guys, are you guys getting some feedback? Just let me know if you are. I'm just going to mute that. Just give me another yes if you are getting some feedback. Okay, so here then on the 60, this was another triangle. Okay, a few of you put yes, so you was in this trade as well. So again, very, very similar to the dollar yen, swing in the market, directional move. This is one where I wanted to wait for extra confirmation because we were at the 9,700 psychological number. You can see we got around 60-70% of the way to targets on this one, and then we've seen a great big bullish candle as a result of the news. We also got a very nice entry here based on a double top, just 22 pips of risk, which was just here. You can still see I have the drawings out. We entered based on that. We got the break below, the pullback for 26.18 and the move lower. So the question is the same as the dollar yen. Was this a good trade? And by good trade, do I mean that it was a trade that met the rules? We had good entries, good stops and good targets. He says yes. Yes, it was a good trade. Anyone else? Just give me a yes if you believe this was a good trade, or no if it was not. Vinco, yes as well. Okay. So again, we're seeing the same thing, aren't we? There's nothing wrong with the trades, and the reason I'm doing this, guys, is psychology. Okay, analyzing why the trade lost, and you do this whether it's as a result of the news or whether it's not as a result of the news. Whatever it may be, I always review the trades, and this was a good trade. If it wasn't for Trump, you know, high probability it would have gone on to win. What was the other thing we was in? The euro yen. The euro yen, which came just a few pips from hitting our targets. We can look at this here. So I still have the workings out. We got involved up here, guys. This lower, lower, lower close candle just here. We double topped. We came relatively close to targets. we pull back for a 26.18 trade. So let me just draw this out from this last test to here. You could have looked at getting involved with a 26.18 trade. So there was the 618, and within, let's have a look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So about 2 hours here, we were starting to see some rejection at this point, and then the news came out and boom, it just rallied. So this was again as a result of Trump, and unfortunately we were not able to move to break even on that trade. We didn't quite come close enough to targets to do that one. So another good trade. What else did we have, guys? We've done the dollar yen, the dollar Swiss, the pound Aussie. Okay. The pound Aussie, it's been up and down like a yo-yo. So here on the 15, this is how the trade was looking. We'd had a flag, a move higher, 1, 2, 3, fourth touch. It didn't come into structure, but I did mention in the video that I sent out is that we sometimes see the retest before we get the breakout, and that's what we used as the entry. And what did we do? We broke out in the right direction, so the probability of this trade going on to win has now dramatically increased. We started to see a pullback, and then the news came out in relation to Trump, and boom, we violated to the downside. So just once again, guys, just give me a yes if this was a good trade. And this again was a high probability trade, because not only did we have the retest, we got an excellent entry just here on this double bottom. We had the confirmation because we broke out of the channel, and so very high probability we were going to go up and hit targets. And look at the rally we had the other way. Vinco says, it is a hard time for many. The community is fundamental to keeping the right path and not breaking the rules. It is, Vinco, and yeah, it's very difficult for everybody. It's very difficult for me, if I'm honest with you, because I'm, to see so many trades over the past 3 to 4 weeks now that have gone on to win that we were in, that really just got stopped out because of news. And then this week to see so many trades where we'd had the confirmation and the news once again just took us the other way. Things could be very, very different if it wasn't for the pinging of the news from one side to the other. It's not a great deal we can do about it. We just have to stick to the plan, make sure that we have proper risk management, and we don't do anything silly. We could have very easily been on the right side of the news, that's the thing. But it is annoying that, it's okay being on the wrong side of the news maybe once, maybe twice, but to always be on the wrong side and always violate the other way, it's very difficult. The only thing I will say is, as a result of news, we do typically see a lot of breakout patterns, and that's what we're forming at the moment, some of those breakout patterns. So it doesn't look as though there's many people that have seen any real winners. Again, structure-based traders, really, if you're a structure-based trader, you wouldn't have, you would have been on the wrong side of this news. That's what I'll say. Let's take a look then just at a couple of currency pairs. Anybody got any questions though before we do that? Because this is a difficult time. I think I'm down now, maybe, I'd have to check, maybe 8%, maybe a little bit more. I'm not 100% certain. I did have 2 winners totaling about 90 pips today, which has helped dramatically. So the drawdown isn't really that bad, but I am in it. I am in that drawdown. So again, if you are struggling out there, just proper position size, and we need to cater for times like this when we have unexpected news events. We have Trump last week making the market go bearish. then he says, well, we're not going to implement it till December, so we're seeing some relief, we're seeing some bullish moves, and you can't plan for these. You just cannot plan for these, and it's these times that can really blow your account if you're not using proper position size. Typically my trading, the drawdown doesn't go on this long and usually isn't this deep, and certainly we don't see as many trades that just stop us out and go on to win. But proper position sizing, this is why we do it, guys. Okay. Did I mention a position size calculator? No, but I trade, what I recommend that you trade is for every £10,000 account or $10,000 account, you trade a position size of 20,000. That means roughly every 100 pips is worth about between 1 and 1.2% of your account balance. Now you can be more aggressive with that if you've gone ahead and you have a strategy that you trade and you know what your drawdown is. It's absolutely fine, but you cannot really factor in this type of movement. We've spoken about this for quite a while now, haven't we, about how we're looking at this being a 10-year cycle. We're seeing new highs, new lows, we're seeing weird spikes. We've got Brexit, we've got Trump. But if you're looking for an actual position size calculator, you can go on to the website, and if you go down to the bottom and click on third-party links, and you can click on position size calculator there. So if you're a person that trades maybe 0.5% or 1% of their account balance, you can go into that and it'll work that out for you. Vinco, will you create a chapter on money management? I have two things to do. I've got one for risk management, and I've still got the Excel file to finish off for the back testing. As you know, guys, I've really been trying to stay off the computer. This week has been pretty much, this week and second half of last week was really when I wanted to get back into the charts properly. My neck's feeling better. I think the Excel file I'm just going to have to pay to get somebody to finish it, because I just don't have time. Just don't have time to finish it. I actually didn't want to spend too much more money. I spent about 10, maybe 12,000 on the website so far, and it doesn't make any money. You know, please remember as well, this month, guys, if you haven't voted for the most helpful trader, go ahead and do that. The person will receive £200 at the end of the month. But again, this isn't here to make money, but I spent quite a lot on it, and I just wanted the site to recoup a little bit of money before I paid any more out, but I think I'm going to have to put my hand in my pocket and pay to have the back testing sheet finished. So Stuart says, I only used a small account that was trapped in the broker, and that's busted now, so I'm not too bothered. Well, I'm down about 8%, as I say, due to the risk management. Bigger perspective though, is that 8% going to completely ruin my account? No. The month before it, I had something like an 8% month anyway. In the grand scheme of things, does this up and down movement, these few trades that we've had over the past 4 weeks, have a real detrimental effect on my overall trading? No, it doesn't. Will it have an overall effect in the future? No, not really, because we will go and hit those winners soon and go back into profit. So proper risk management is absolutely crucial. But yes, just to answer your question then, Vinco, yes, there will be that chapter added. So just words though at the moment, guys, just words. I'm feeling the pinch just like everybody else. Does anybody want to take a look at a few currency pairs, or should we save it? Should we save it for tomorrow? I'm really just looking at and waiting for the market to settle down, and tomorrow there may be a few trading opportunities, a few flag patterns. What do you want to do, guys? Just give me a yes if you want to have a look at a few currency pairs. Again, there's nothing at market. I'm not interested now till tomorrow. Or just give me a no if you want to leave it till tomorrow morning, and we'll see if there's any flag patterns that form as a result of these moves. Let me know what you guys want to do. I'm easy either way. I will just bring over the Aussie dollar CAD. We were looking to short the head and shoulders, and we were looking for a lower low, lower close within this price reversal zone here, guys, and we never got it. And then the news did actually affect the Aussie dollar CAD, and we saw this weird spike, and we closed above our structure level now, so not anything I'm really interested in. So guys, I won't bother going over any trade setups because there isn't really anything. We will simply wait. We'll take another look tomorrow. We'll see if there's any flag patterns. I can't see that there's going to be many structure-based trades. I think this movement has really blown everything out the water. What did the dollar yen rally, by the way, guys? From this point here, there you go. 179 pips. 179 pips. And again, just if you want to know if it's unusual behavior, just go and measure the candle and compare it to the other candles. And there's not a candle that size, so again, unusual movement. Stuart, I don't mind going through some. Okay, we'll pick a couple. We'll pick a couple. Somebody said the euro pound. Let's go and take a look at that. The euro pound, which I'm not happy with. The one that stopped us out by 2 pips and then hit for 77. Just another winning trade that's just so happened to stop us out. Bullish. Bullish, bullish, bullish. A very small amount of relief. Bullish and bullish. If we look left, okay, it looks as though we've come into structure highs up here. Let's take a look at that. Did we hold structure or did we violate it? Let's take a look. I think we violated it, but we'll double check it. So we draw this out from the close of the candles. Are you going to work on the close of the candle? Are you not working? I'm going to draw on a line on the close of the candles and on the wick highs, and if we look right, we had a confirmed break above, close above. So I would only be looking for long opportunities. Now, what that actually means, guys, is that the euro pound now, I've got 1,000 candles loaded here. So that's 3 years worth of data, and it actually means that we are now at new structure highs based on the last 3 years. Let's just go and load a little bit more data. Nope, look at that correction. 2,000 candles I've got loaded. Alright guys, so that's actually, we're now at 6-year highs, and from the look of it, it might even be a lot more. So I'd have to load more data, but we are now in an area where we haven't seen price come up to this zone for at least 6 years. So I would be very skeptical about getting long or about getting short. I don't like being at new highs that we haven't tested for at least the last couple of years, and this is at least 6 years. We can drop down to the 240, but just based on the dailies, I'd only really be looking for long opportunities. Even on the 240 here, we've got a confirmed break above, close above. I was looking to see if we had some form of channel here. You do. You've got 1, 2, that would be 3, this would be 4. I think we'd actually have to go out to the weekly, so just let me go out to the weekly, get a little bit of perspective. On the weekly, well, look at that, guys. On the weekly, we also broke to the upside. So even though you have this channel and it looks like a rising channel, it's not going to be valid because we've broken structure to the upside. So we may see some relief, but my overall bias here is that we're still going to go at some point higher. So I just wouldn't be interested in anything on the euro pound now. Weekly and dailies and the 240, we've all broken structure, we've all broken 6-year highs, minimum of 6-year highs, so only bullish for me. Stuart says, I think the drawdown has been great to test whether people really can deal with it. I'm not worried about it and it's made me feel better about trading. The only person I know that's happy to be in a drawdown. I hate drawdowns. I hate them. But it's part of trading. You know, being 8% down, whatever it is, it's about 8%, is a lot, particularly for me. And I think what you've got to look at is, I hate to go and repeat the same thing, but with proper risk management, even a heavy drawdown, when you have real unpredicted behavior, as we've seen in the past 3 or 4 weeks, you're able to ride through the drawdown. And you've seen today the trades that we're in, all of you agreed the trade that we were in were good trades. They met the plan. We had the confirmation. There was a real good chance today we were going to bank around 300 pips on top of the 90 for the 2 winners that we had. There was a real good chance that we were going to come out of our drawdown. And all of you confirmed that it was a good trade. They were good trades, but the news stops us out. And I think everybody will agree as well that the trades that we've had over the past few weeks have all been good, and we've proven, or I've proven time and time again, that 7 of those trades were just stopped out for 1 to 2 pips because of the news, and there was 550 pips there. So again, it all comes down to the news, and please, if you're not doing that now, please ensure that you're using proper risk management in these trades. Don't try and claw the money back. You will simply make it worse. Stick to the plan, follow the trades, and if you need to, don't trade for the rest of the day, don't trade tomorrow, don't trade for the rest of the week if it's affected you that much. Stay out the trades and simply come back when you're feeling refreshed. In saying that, really hoping the Euro Aussie wins for 320. That will be a very large chunk of the drawdown gotten back. So that's my perspective on the Euro Pound. We are forming a couple of things. Let's have a look at the New Zealand Yen. The New Zealand Yen was a nice winning trade for a low and tight flag. I think it was the New Zealand Yen. Yes, it was. This is what we won on earlier. Lovely little trade. Thank God it hit just before Trump spoke, because look at that. That could have easily been another trade that stopped us out. That was about a 150 pip move. Yeah. And the New Zealand Yen is not a big mover. It's a very small mover. Now, if we put a structure level on at the tops here, we have not violated above that level, so we've got currently a structure hold. So as I drop down to the 15, we do have a violation on the 15, but this is not moving in a way that's going to produce a flag pattern. We've got a lovely directional pole, but it's not, in my opinion, going to produce a flag, but never say never. Fourth touch would be there. Is there a key level of structure we could look at? Maybe this level. We'll have to wait and see, but the angle of this flag is going to be too steep. So that's why I don't think it's going to be a flag pattern. I think we're just going to see price fizzle out and go one way or the other. So I don't think we're going to see a flag there. Dollar yen, let's just drop to the 15 and take a quick look at it. The wins will come back, which is exciting. Yep, I thought we were going to hit 5 or 6 wins in a row. I really did. I'm well overdue. Well overdue those wins. So here in the 15, same type of movement. Lovely move, but doesn't look, well, we might get a flag pattern here. We'll have to wait and see tomorrow on the dollar yen. There's no real point looking at structure, guys. Structure's been violated. We'll have to wait for the market to settle down. Pound Aussie, would not be interested in buying it up, but you did have a back pattern here. Did the back pattern hit? Nope, it's fallen short, so if you are in that, good luck to you. Could we see some sort of pattern here? Problem here is that we've come down and held this level of structure. So if you were looking at this being a continuation pattern, it's not going to be one. Let's just take a look at the 5. It's actually forming at structure, this, so it's not going to be one for me. Yeah, it doesn't, the lower level doesn't adhere to structure. Well, you could make the case. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks as though you're starting to get the breakout now. But it's happened at structure, guys. It's happened at structure, so it wouldn't be a trade for me. If it is for you, you can look for that 127 extension. There's 90 pips up for grabs, but again, we could easily retrace here for a flag or something, so I got nothing on that. What else have we got? Euro yen, seeing pretty much the same thing. I hope some of these turn into flag patterns, but just from me working these for so long, it's just, again, it's not forming in a way that would give me a flag. So I hate to say it, but we might not have any of these turn into flags. Let's move that out of the way. What else? Pound yen, was there anything on that? We'll start wrapping this up, guys. I really don't have anything to talk about here. We were in the best opportunities. And again, pound yen, exactly the same movement. Move up and not giving us any type of flag pattern. So I was hoping that this week, because I know that I'm due to come out of my drawdown, that I was going to do 2 webinars, one in the morning, one in the evening, and I thought this will be great because there was a high probability of coming out of the drawdown this week, and I thought, well, the evening webinar will talk about the trades that we're in, the ones that have won, and we've seen the market settle down. I've said that a few times, haven't I? We've seen the market settle. But I'll still do the webinars now for the rest of the week in the evening as well, and we will see how things play out. Euro Aussie, just to let you know, guys, you had the chance to enter again into this trade. So I'm just going to go over this and we'll call this the last one, guys. You had the opportunity to add to your position on this trade. So I'm in this 62 pips for 322. This was the double top up here, and it got confirmed when we violated to the downside. We got involved with a 26.18 trade and we saw the move to the downside. Now, right here, guys, was a key level of structure that we pulled back into. And I'm going to drop to the 15 first of all, and I'm going to show you how you could have entered in again on this trade. And right here, we actually held, because of this wick, we actually held this structure level. And if you go down to the 5 range, we have a head and shoulders here and a double top. So we had a move higher, a pullback. That's the left shoulder, a move higher, a pullback, a move higher again. This was a double top up here that actually held structure. We had, we didn't have the RSI confirmation, so I take that back. We didn't have the RSI. But then we saw a move lower, a pullback, a move lower, a pullback, a move lower, a pullback, and now we're moving lower again. So head and shoulders, double top, and we're in trend and we're coming lower. So I'm not too sure if anybody increases their position. I actually did on this trade. But again, if you find areas when we have a big trade like the Euro Aussie and it produces a double top or a head and shoulders or additional confirmation, just like we can get involved in a breakout pattern when we're moving very directionally, you can add to your position. So I actually did that in this instance. So I am hoping that we're going to come down as a minimum down to this level. It's looking like that because of this head and shoulders. So I am expecting a move to the downside here, guys. And I would then like to see this momentum carry on. You look at the size of this big bearish candle. Good grief, I've got to delete all these arrows now. Okay. The size of this big elephant candle. I think everybody will agree this is a very big and powerful bearish candle. We did actually come up for another retest on the 4 hourly as well, just here. Didn't have any RSI confirmation, but we're now down at the structure level, and we do need to violate that structure level and see a continuation down here. And if you're somebody that held for second targets, well, you could see quite a bigger move here, certainly down to this level. For me, I'm quite happy to get out of this trade for the AB equals CD pattern for that 322 pips if we can get it. So guys, I hope you found that informative. I'm very disappointed that I'm not sat here saying that we've now had 3 winners or 4 winners. We're well on our way to getting out the drawdown. In all fairness, that's what I was expecting. Any questions, guys, before we wrap this up? I'm going to go and get my tea. I'm going to go out for a walk. I'm going to get some exercise, get rid of all these negative feelings and emotions. And if you are having those, guys, post it in the chat. Speak to us. Speak to me directly if you want. Have a lot of experience with dealing with drawdowns. Apart from that, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.